Finally, we're here to talk about The Batman. It's been a while. I saw it for the first time when it first came out. But a lot happened in this movie. It is not your typical Batman movie, so I needed to see it a few more times. It finally came out on HBO Max, and now I've seen it, I think, 3-4 times. Now we can talk about it. No spoilers here. We'll get to the spoilers in a longer video. It's going to be my initial quick thoughts after seeing it quite a few times now. First of all, Matt Reeves, the director, absolutely kills this. This is a beautiful looking Batman movie. Probably the best looking Batman film of all time. Yeah, it's gorgeous. If this came out later in the year, he possibly could be nominated for Best Director. It kind of has that Joker, Joaquin Phoenix Joker vibe, the way it's directed, and the tone. This is the darkest toned Batman film ever. Beginning to end, this is gloomy. This is kind of depressing. But it works, because if you actually think about the Batman character, we all know his backstory. His family's dead, and he becomes kind of a low-key psychopath who stays at night chasing down criminals. That's pretty fucking depressing. So the tone works here. Now, could it have used maybe a joke or two somewhere? Probably, because it is literally dark the entire time. No uplifting spirit, really, in this film. No comic relief. Nothing, really. But it's okay. Again, it kind of fits the Batman mode. And it really separates. That's probably the biggest difference between this Batman and all the others. Is just the dreariness. It's fucking dreary. I don't want to hammer that in too far. But if you haven't seen it yet, it's a cold-hearted movie. Now, with that comes how realistic it was. This was the most realistic Batman movie ever. For better and for worse, though. Like, for better, I like the Batman costume was way more homemade than any other Batman costume ever. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. Like, it looks kind of janky. It looks like some guy could have kind of just made it. Whereas all the other Batman costumes look like you need military help to do so. This, not so much. It does look like a billionaire could kind of make that. Same with his Batmobile. It looks like a billionaire could just soup that up, and that would just be your Batmobile. Now, that's a good thing, and it's kind of a bad thing because it takes away that iconic Batman vibe when you see that Batmobile. This didn't feel like the Batmobile, but again, it is only the first in probably a trilogy at least of films. So by the time they get to the sequel, and damn sure maybe the trilogy, the third one, I assume the Batmobile will probably be looking differently. Same with his outfit, his haircut. I expect him to slowly age Robert Pattinson's version of the Batman. Because right now, here, he was very emo. He felt young. He felt younger than Robert Pattinson actually is. Another thing that was nice is the details. All Batmans have, like, the black paint around their eyes under the mask, so you don't just see, like, white skin through the mask. It would look pretty pants. So they paint the eyes. Here, when he takes the mask off, the paint remained. It was smeared. It stayed. Fantastic details. Like, that's what this movie is. If you pay attention to it, the details will kind of low-key blow you away. Now, the things that some people might not like about this is it's a slow burn. And that is not something you're used to saying in a superhero movie. It's a slow burn. Again, it is very Joker-esque. Joaquin Phoenix Joker. It's kind of slow. It's kind of a drama. Basically, to sum this movie up quickly, without any spoilers, this is if you take all the Batman characters and you put them in Seven. The movie Seven. David Fincher, Seven. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, David Fincher, Kevin Spacey. What's in the box? What's in the box? That movie? Yeah, that's basically what this is. And the Riddler, he might as well be Jigsaw. Kind of Jigsaw-ish. You know how, like, okay, first of all, Paul Dano absolutely destroys it as, he's the best thing in this movie is Paul Dano. I could have used him in it more. It's It's 3 hours long. It's 3 hours long. I could have used a little more Paul Dano. Because he was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic as the Riddler. You could not have probably found anyone else to do the Riddler that looks and sounds more like the Riddler should. The only thing is, kind of like when people saw The Dark Knight and Heath Ledger, nobody complained about his acting performance. You can't. It's perfect. But there were some people complaining that it's not their Joker. It doesn't feel like the Joker. He felt more like a maniacal clown than the Joker. I disagreed. I loved it to my core. But there were a lot of complaints about it not feeling like the Joker. I could see people saying the same exact thing about Paul Dano as the Riddler. Because as far as I know, there has never been a Riddler in any format that has been even close to this. The way he looks, the way he sounds, none of it. Like he has the Bane voice going on, which was an odd character choice to do for the Riddler. But they gave him like a deep, brooding Bane voice. And the way he looked, you will not see question marks all over the fucking place. It is not a ton of bright greens. It's kind of like garbagey green. Yes, it's not like behind me. It's kind of, yeah, no, it's darker. It's like a dirtier green. It's more realistic. He's got like tape and a weird tape mask on with glasses. Like, it's a very another homemade thing to drown it in realism. Cool, it's grounded in realism. Great. But a lot of people will bitch that this is not their Riddler. Just the way it is. Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz, fantastic. That's it. That's all you got to say about Zoe Kravitz here. She's the best, if not, at very worst, second best Catwoman ever. Michelle Pfeiffer is the only one close. That one you can debate. That's debatable. Besides that, Zoe Kravitz destroys Anne Hathaway. Like, that's not a conversation. Anne Hathaway's not close in terms of being the Catwoman as Zoe Kravitz. Only complaint about the Catwoman or Zoe here, her mask was cheeks. She had a little mask. Terrible. Terrible. It's one of the worst things in the movie is her mask. It looks like a half a ski mask. Which is weird, because the rest of her outfit is like a skin-tight, rubbery thing. Fits, works beautifully for Catwoman. But then she just tosses on like half a ski mask. What the fuck are we doing? Yeah, I didn't get that. Like, hopefully in the sequel or whatever, we'll get upgraded looks a little bit. That was just an odd choice. It made it look. It's one thing to look homemade. It's another thing to look kind of like cheap. It's like, there's no way in hell a Catwoman's just gonna have a half a ski mask looking thing on. There's no way. There's no way. Whatever. Penguin didn't have a hell of a lot to do here. Colin Farrell, not a hell of a lot to do here. Like, the billing kind of made it seem like it was two villains. Riddler, Penguin. It's more of one villain, Riddler. Penguin's kind of like a side guy. Kind of a side guy. He's there, but he's probably building the universe for what he'll do in the future type of shit. Because he didn't do a whole lot. He had one big car scene, a couple little small pieces. Didn't do a ton. My only question is, why the hell did you get Colin Farrell in it if you wanted him to look nothing like Colin Farrell, act and sound nothing like Colin Farrell? He actually was Colin Farrell in heavy makeup doing his best Robert De Niro impersonation. Now, was he bad at it? No, not at all. Not at all. I just question the reasoning to get Colin Farrell. I guess you just want the name on the poster. You know what I mean? I guess you just want the name. But just get an actor that can do that easier. You don't need to spend 8 hours in a makeup chair to get Colin Farrell to do something that's nothing like Colin Farrell. So it's kind of odd there. John Turturro, he's fine. He's fine. My only problem is it's John Turturro. He's in this as Falcone. Cool. He does Falcone pretty well. I got a problem seeing John Turturro not being goofy. It's just what I've grown up him doing. So he's kind of a little odd. It's a little odd seeing him being this serious. Does it well, but again, every time you see him, you're like, hey, aren't you John Turturro? So it kind of takes you out a little bit. But overall, this was a good movie, Not spectacular. If you're not in for a slow burn, just no need to watch. It's literally Seven with Batman characters. It's a murder mystery, a dark, gloomy murder mystery with some action in it. Batman action. Overall, good. Nothing like Dark Knight. It's not in that stratosphere. It's not in that world of great. But it is good. If you like Batman a lot, it's worth a watch. Or if you like, even if you don't like Batman, frankly, if you like Law and Order type of criminal justice movies, if you like Seven, again, if you liked fucking Seven, you're going to like this. There you go. It's extremely similar. I give The Batman a B+. It's a good movie. It actually got better the more times I've watched it in theaters. I was like, it's alright. I've watched it more, kind of settled into what the director was going for. 7. With Batman people. There you go. That's it. And the one last thing is anyone else, for the people who did see it, I won't call this a spoiler. I won't call it a spoiler. But if you have seen it, did you notice how they didn't call him Batman at all? They may have called him Batman once. I think that'd be at most. That's me being generous. They called him Vengeance throughout the movie. His name was Vengeance. Now, there are like notes that say to the Batman all over the movie. The Batman, but never Batman like it's his name. It's the Batman, as if you see a guy dressed as a bat, you'd call him, hey look, the Batman. But you wouldn't be like, hey, Batman. It's weird. It's weird. His name in this movie, Catwoman says it many times. Call him Vengeance. I don't know where that's going. I have no clue. It's intriguing, but it is odd. This is a completely different take on Batman. Hopefully you guys like it. Because I didn't hate it. And I'm glad, last thing, I'm glad they left the Joker scene out. I've seen that, the little excerpt. I'm glad they left the main Joker scene out. Oof. Oof. That's all I can say. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you are still here, then you are a real one. We have to talk to spoil one. That's gonna be a lot longer. Fuck. 3 hours long.